promoting a healthy environment. It's the air we breathe. Clean, safe water. Responsible management of our natural resources. To protect and restore for a sustainable future. Environment matters.
He's slimy.
Celebrating planet Earth and all the creatures that live here, even the squiggly ones. Checking in at Earth Day 2012. Plus,
we're creating a community that believes in sustainability.
2 West Virginia schools received national awards for their environmental programs. We'll show you just what goes into becoming a Green Ribbon school. Hello everyone and welcome to Environment Matters. I'm Kathy Cosco with the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection. Earth Day was first observed in 1970 and is credited by many for helping to launch the modern environmental movement. Here at home, the Department of Environmental Protection organized its Make It Shine Earth Day celebration at the Clay Center in Charleston. As the DEP's Tom Aloise reports, it was a day of hands-on learning.
They came from all across West Virginia, hundreds of students and their teachers all ready for a day of learning, and some fun too, and they weren't disappointed.
It's a wonderful experience for the students to have hands-on opportunities to touch some of the wildlife in our state and just to see some of the resources that we're able to provide.
The little lizards, the black and yellow ones, were so cool, but they were slimy. One licked me.
In addition to the native wildlife, other displays featured things like this solar-powered slot car race. A demonstration on how properly inflated tires can reduce fuel consumption and air pollution.
Which one's harder?
This one.
This one?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have air in it, so it's not properly inflated.
And a quick game of Junk Jeopardy. But the undisputed stars of the show were the live ones.
My favorite part was the frogs, because my favorite animal was like recycling, and I almost fainted because it's my dream come true.
And we're just showing them to the kids and kind of promote that if we clean the waters, we can have more of this in our streams. I think kids really like to see what's in the water and touch them and have that little sensory experience. And then if they see what's there, then they can take a little bit more of an active approach and try and keep it clean, try and protect it a little bit more in the future.
It's a lesson their teachers echo.
Well, I think the younger that you expose it to them, the more it's going to sink in. Children's minds are like sponges. The younger they are, the more they absorb. And they just really grow and make it a lifestyle rather than something that they hear and let go in one ear and out the other.
So, did it soak in? Well, see for yourself.
Recycling and energy and the air to keep it safe and not cut down trees. And energy, not litter. Recycling is really important because you don't want your house and the streets and the whole entire town to smell all smelly.
Early lessons organizers hope will lead to a lifetime of environmentally sustainable choices. In Charleston, I'm Tom Aloise for Environment Matters.
Since its beginning in 1970, Earth Day has grown to a global environmental movement, observed in 192 countries by more than 1 billion people worldwide. April 26 was National Take Your Daughters and Sons to Work Day, and here at DEP, dozens of employees' sons and daughters arrived early for a full day of learning and crafts. It was a chance for the kids to see some of the kinds of work mom or dad does. Program organizers say this is more than just a typical job shadowing. It's an opportunity to show the value of education in a hands-on interactive environment. This was the 20th anniversary of National Take Your Daughters and Sons to Work Day. It's a program that's older than the Department of Environmental Protection itself. The first Youth Environmental Day happened in 1963 and was then under the umbrella of the Division of Natural Resources. Today, the program provides more than $11,000 in awards and scholarship opportunities for students each year. And for these judges, this year's entries present both a challenge and a pleasure.
Look.
For Diana Haid, head of the DEP's Youth Environmental Program, this is a labor of love.
And it's just amazing at some of the work that they do and how hard they work and the devotion that their club leaders have and the time that they give so that these kids can go out and beautify and improve their communities.
Entries are divided into age groups. mountain laurel for grade school, bear for middle school, and rhododendron for high school age. Teams present an annual report of their community projects that include things like litter control, recycling, beautification, and wildlife management. Previous first-place winners compete for the Mountain State Award for Excellence. There's also the Cardinal Art Poster Contest, which encourages students to use their art skills to send an environmental message. Winners of that contest receive a scholarship to either Junior Conservation Camp or West Virginia State Conservation Camp. Rewards for a year of hard work.
When I see them at Youth Environmental Day come up to receive the award that they have been announced to receive, it is just the best feeling in the whole world to know that these kids care about our environment and they're doing things to improve it, and we're recognizing that.
Barbara Palmer has been with the program since its beginning. Now retired from the DNR, she says she's seen a lot of students grow with the program over the years.
One of the most exciting things is the fact that some of the kids that are in the programs have spent their life in that type of work. Several of them came back to be park superintendents and assistants and majored in fields that were related and have wound up spending their whole life in this type of work or something closely related.
That legacy is what keeps many of these volunteer judges coming back year after year.
Going out around the state, different functions, meeting the kids at the youth camp or what have you, is always kind of fun to see them as you age, as you read the same ones over the course of years. Oh, well, they continued this project, or no, someone graduated, but someone else took up their slack in their program, and it's kind of nice to see how it all works out and see those kids out there all excited about what they're doing year after year.
Youth Environmental Day is May 19th at North Bend State Park. Next year will be the 50th anniversary for the program. They are National Green Ribbon Schools, 2 of just 78 so honored in the entire United States. Hilltop Elementary School in Marshall County and the Wyoming County Career and Technical Center in Pineville were first honored as West Virginia's sustainable schools. And as the DEP's Greg Adolphson found out, both schools are taking different paths to the same goal.
On the surface, these similarities may not be obvious, but dig a little deeper and you'll find one common mission: preparing students for a 21st century, technologically driven green economy and becoming a community hub for shaping attitudes about conservation, sustainability, and environmental issues. The United States Department of Education's Green Ribbon Schools are awarded based on a school's excellence in the areas of environmental impact and energy efficiency, healthy school environments, and environmental and sustainability education. Hilltop Elementary School is a state-of-the-art LEED certified building. LEED, the United States Green Building Council's Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design certification, is the internationally recognized standard for measuring a building's sustainability, and for school leaders, it presents a unique teaching opportunity.
If the building becomes a vehicle for learning, it's because students they're curious about it. If teachers learn about the place they go to work every day and are curious about it, it gets embedded into the culture. And it becomes a real special place. And that's what Hilltop kind of represents for me.
From its recycled rubber floors to its advanced lighting and climate controls, Hilltop was designed to be green from the ground up. Wyoming County's path to a greener future uses technology to get the most from its existing buildings, and it's working.
The whole county, every one of our schools is Energy Star rated. So we had 14 good opportunities to put out there, but I thought the vocational school actually it had bigger departments, and they were all sort of embracing the green concept. Since 2003, based on the amount of energy we were using in 2003, we've saved over $2 million.
Wyoming County uses web-based automation to monitor and control energy use and environmental conditions at each of its 14 schools. From anywhere with an internet connection, Tilley can keep track of temperature, humidity and carbon dioxide levels, and the overall system status. It also allows him to find ways to increase each school's performance.
I know how much per square foot each school costs to operate. There I can look ahead and say, well, we need to upgrade equipment, but right here we'd get the best bang for our buck in this particular school because it's costing the most per square foot. Mm-hmm. Or, now that I know that what I'm looking at here, I can be say, well, this school here we have a little humidity problem here. We need to change something in this area in order to get our humidity back in order. If you're real-time monitoring these things, you know, you can avoid some of the problems out there.
And while that's money saved on energy allows both schools to funnel it back to help pay for other student programs, the bottom line is really about changing attitudes. Peggy Niebergall and Sue Kirchner are teachers at Hilltop Elementary.
I think we just feel the responsibility, not just for our students' lives, but it's the beginning of a different thought process, whether it would be the change in the environmental thinking of steel, coal, gas, oil, sun, wind. We're starting to change the way people think just because of our school. And this school was made from 80% of recycled materials, and they call it cradle to cradle, so therefore when these materials wear out, they can be recycled into another product. So, you know, when you start to think like that, and then you get the community involved, and you know, we have businesses and partners in education and families and grandparents who drop off their recycling materials. So it's become a bonding type of a thing for the school.
The children are very excited, and they work harder now than they did before, especially the little ones. They seem even more excited, and in my classroom especially, they're very picky about what goes in what box, and they're bringing things from home to also recycle, which they weren't really doing before.
Students at the Wyoming County Career and Technical Center are getting ready to enter the job market in a challenging economy. But school leaders say the lessons learned there have helped students to flourish. With a 94% placement rate after graduation, Sheila Mann says the programs are showing results.
Our solar panel project I think is unique. You've got sustainable, alternative, renewable energy, and it was based in the most traditional program that we've got here is founded in the coal industry. And it has offered a lot more job opportunities for the students in that program with the gas companies. They are importing people to install solar panels and maintain solar panels on their wells from Texas and Alabama. Anytime you drive through here early in the morning, that's all you see is out-of-state truck plates, and that's the people that are working on the gas wells, the solar panels for the gas wells. We're hoping to replace those with West Virginia truck plates.
Leaders at both schools say it's changing the way they approach their job.
And that's one thing that really pushes us to provide as much as we can for our students, because they do like to stay here. And most of the ones that do leave at some point, they come home. And it needs to be an environment that they can come home to and bring their families and be proud.
What I think has happened is I've seen teachers transform instruction. I've seen people go do more problem-based, project-based learning because now there's a project that is very relevant. What's more relevant to students than the place they go to school every day?
And by developing a comprehensive approach to creating a green environment, both schools are leading the way to the future and creating a path for other West Virginia schools to follow. In Marshall County, I'm Greg Adolphson for Environment Matters.
Representatives from both schools will be honored in Washington, D.C. on June 4th. The West Virginia Department of Education plans to certify at least 10 sustainable schools by the end of the 2014 school year. Coming up, when it rains, it pours. That's not really a problem when you're having a water festival. Plus, they provide more than just shade and a home for birds and squirrels. How trees, especially in an urban setting, can actually improve your quality of life. But first, did you know that a properly placed tree can reduce your air conditioning demand by 30%? Trees are also good for the environment, absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. According to one study, if every American family planted just one tree, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere would be reduced by about 1 billion pounds a year.